Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, this is the truth, guys. You cannot run away from the relative reality. The relative reality is the outer world as well as your mind. You cannot skip this world. No matter where you go, when you have a body, when you're alive, the mind is with you all the time, and the world as well. Yes, definitely you can disengage from the outer world. Even you disengage from the outer world to minimize the outer distraction, the mind is constantly there. The reason to disengage from the world itself is coming from the place of mind. The mind is giving you that idea, and you're following that idea. That means you are listening to the mind and you are going with that. So the mind is still there. So that's why we cannot run away from the mind and we cannot hide from the mind. No matter where you go, the mind is there. And the reason we are running away from the mind, we are trying to run away from the mind, is because the mind is creating a lot of fear, isn't it? Fear of a lot of stuff. The mind itself is creating the negative narratives. And that itself is also coming from the place of fear. So there's a conflict, there's a fear, there's the never-ending fluctuation within. So how to be okay with the mind? Even the mind, creates that ripples of thoughts coming out as a fear or conflict. Right now, what's happening is to move away from the negative aspect of the mind. We are controlling the mind, isn't it? We are putting another idea in the mind and we're focusing on that. Example is, meditation. What do you do in your meditation? It's simply controlling the mind, especially when you're doing the visualization or a mantra or having the specific focal point coming in the body. As a visualization, is about controlling the mind. What you're doing is, by focusing on something, you're concentrating on that focal point, that specific point in the mind or in the body. And when you do that, your concentration on something makes the surrounding of the mind disappears momentarily. Because of that concentration, you don't fluctuate so much. Yes, in the beginning of the concentration, you are not anchored, not settled, not steady, and through the focus, you start to feel that sense of calmness coming in. You feel more settled. And this momentary, calmness gives you this another layer in your mind that, controlling of the body and mind works. So we keep doing this again and again, not realizing that from that approach, we are numbing ourselves. Isn't that? When you're doing the practice, it seems it's working. But when it's done, what is left is the mind again, the fluctuating mind. The mind is always there. And, after the meditation, you're calm, you're ready. There's a sense of clarity. But when you're interacting with the world, when the friction builds up, you start to feel the fluctuation again. The calmness dissolves. The fear comes in again. The conflict rises again. So, you can't run away from the mind. You can dissolve the issue by controlling the mind and body. What we can do is, investigating on our own mind why the mind is fluctuating me. That's the simple approach to be okay with the mind. Especially when we are involved in the inquiry practice. The inquiry practice takes us to see the root cause of the issue, root cause of the problem. When we see the root, that root shows that we are attached to something. We are attached to something because that something is providing us the comfort, the safety, and we keep prolonging that root because of the uncertainty. We don't want to go through the fear in life. So, we hold on to that, the belief in us, the preference in us. So, and when we come to that point, when we see that attachment, that way of our approach in life, then we have to investigate on that attachment as well, And when we do that, then we can go all the way until there is no mind is left. This process makes us understand that, mind is simply the ideas that comes from the place of experience. And also we understand that mind is simply the pattern. Notice, no matter what you have gone through in your life, always leaves this idea as a residue. Notice this. Now reflect on your life. Every experience that you go through in life, comes as an idea of likes and dislikes. And prolonging that likes is the way to, become denial of the dislikes. And that becomes a one-way approach. And when that one-way approach is, conditioned, it's natural to feel the, fear of dislike to resurface in life. So we continue with the positive approach. We listen to the, what works in a relative sense. Even what works in the relative sense, prolonging that itself is, don't want to experience pain and suffering. So this kind of approach numbs us completely. And, when we prolong this for long enough, what happens is, life is this. So, and we accept life is like this, and other side is there's so much fear, fluctuation from the mind. So there's a contradicting preference from our own movement. And also we're trying to run away from the mind. So, again, if you want to be free from the mind and not bothered by the mind, then we really have to, investigate. The freedom from the mind is a straightforward approach. It's about witnessing yourself, dismantling your mind, which is tracing back the mind, and asking yourself, who am I? This simple step will set you free from the mind if you are thorough in tracing your mind backward. And backward is a way to see who you are, the plain sight truth within. And seeing the plain sight truth will, help you dissolve the mind completely. Dissolving the mind in a way that you are not bothered by the fluctuation of the mind after seeing the truth. That will happen. And that itself is the spiritual enlightenment. That itself is a spiritual freedom. And when you are able to see the truth, then your easy living starts, which is being okay with the mind. Because in the functioning reality, when we have to interact with the people, the world, the mind is needed. The simple mind is needed. That's how we interact. We are not telepathic. We use language, whether it's a sign language or a verbal language. We use language. That's how we communicate. And that itself is a mind and awareness coming together. So, even after awakening to the truth, the mind, we have to use it as an ally rather than enemy. Right now, a pre-enlightenment journey, before enlightenment, we see mind as the, realm of stress. It is the realm that creates so much conflict. But it doesn't have to that way when we understand that the nature of the mind is always changing, by seeing the plain sight truth. Anyway, I hope this video makes sense. Don't run away from the mind. It's okay, the mind fluctuates. Accept that mind fluctuates. And if you are triggered by the fluctuation of the mind, you investigate your mind, and that's the way to be free from the mind. Okay? Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I will see you in the next video. Take care for now. Bye.